so something more comes to him. And whenever I read this passage about dry bones, and it's an old familiar one, whenever I study it, I always think back to the beginning of my ministry here at Trinity. And that's not saying anything about the age of people who were here at the time. 4 years ago, I came here and saw a church that had been entirely written off. It was, all the authorities said, a completely hopeless case. It was dead, had been declared dead, time of death had been announced, and it wasn't worth trying to revive. This is a church that is dead. I was told that directly. This is a church that is so dead that it will destroy you and crush the life out of any pastor who comes here. You shouldn't go there because it's a dead place. We don't want you to go there. It's for your own good. It would be too depressing. Who would want to do ministry in a valley of dry bones? And I heard what they were saying. I heard what they were trying to tell me. And honestly, looking at where we were, it was easy to say this is in no way going to be easy. And in ways that you say, well, how is this even possible that you could minister to this? And I struggled with it, honestly. I mean, here I am, 4 years ago, newly minted, wet behind the ears, never been a pastor before, first church I've ever had pastor. Going into a church that everyone tells me is dead. And not only that, but to make that move, to move into a church here, to join and say, all right, I want to help with the ministry here. I was not just going to have to go to a place where people said, this is going to be impossible. It's just, dead thing, stay away. But I was going to have to gently refuse to obey our presbytery. And stand firm, even though it might cost me, if it didn't pan out, the ministry that I had worked for 7 years to prepare for. I called it that. And to be honest, in those weeks, as things were up in the air, I was really struggling and praying. I have this sense of call. Is this where I'm supposed to go? Is this what is supposed to happen? You pray for guidance. I prayed for guidance. And I pray for anything at all. Give me some sense of what I'm supposed to do here. Is this the right thing? And after weeks of prayer, I had a dream. Now we Presbyterians, are not supposed to listen to our dreams or to talk about our dreams, mostly because they're not sufficiently process-oriented. I think somewhere in the Book of Order we're allowed to talk about our dreams if we've had them while we're falling asleep in a meeting. Someone told me that once, but I haven't been able to find it. This dream was unusual. It was unusually vivid. It was unusually intense. Not like one of those confused messes of imagery that normally fill my REM sleep. And it also wasn't like what have come to be my normal pastor stress dreams. I mean, maybe you have school stress dreams. I get pastor stress dreams where the church is filled with new visitors and I can't find my sermon and suddenly someone's told me I have to lead the praise team and I don't know how to play guitar and I'm not wearing any pants. This dream was different. It was a dream that began with clarity, felt lucid. And in the dream, I was flying high, soaring, perfect spring day. I love those dreams where you fly, where you have that sense of joyous, effortless lightness that just fills you up and you soar, and it's not like any feeling in the whole of your waking life. And it was clear, and it was lucid, and I could see down below me that I was flying high above the Beltway. I could see it, clear as could be. There's Tyson's, and I'm flying over it, and there's the toll road, and I'm flying over it, and I'm gliding, and, you know, I just wish my commute every day was like that. And as I flew in the dream, I could see down off to this side, coming up on it, the American Legion Bridge, right there, the way it always does. And as I came to it, a shadow fell over me. My hand rested on my shoulder. And as I turned in the dream, I saw what could only be described as the image of the angel of death, right out of some particularly nasty medieval woodblock etching. Classic stuff. Great black robe, bones, and a hand that was just ribbons of dark flesh. And those robes flapped in the wind, and that face was nothing more than a skull. And if I'd been aged, that's the point where I woke up to being like, calling out for my dad if I could find my voice. But I wasn't frightened, not at all. And this thing turned and looked at me and faced me, and even though it was a death's head rictus, like the nastiest looking skull thing, the great dark hollows of its eyes were gentle. And then it slowly extended an arm and pointed with a long finger of bone out across the Maryland side to where I knew Trinity lay, just beyond the trees on that other side of the tunnel. In the dream, I suddenly started to weep, and when I woke up, I was still crying. You can take that any way you want. I will say that at that point in time, I did not share that dream conception, mostly because if you've ever been to a job interview and they ask you, why are you interested in this job? And you say, well, the angel of death sent me. Usually, you don't get the job. And you can take it how you want. It could have been the symbolic stirrings of my struggling subconscious, or my reaching down, if you study at all Carl Jung, reaching down to some mythic archetype. But what it was clear. It was ascending. It was ascending. And 4 years ago, it was clear that the death of this place wasn't just a distant thing. Death was here. It was already present. Time